sin, if God knew people would sin and end up in hell, would it have been more gracious for him not to create humans at all so that no one would suffer in hell? That is the age-old question. Why did God create us knowing that we would fall? Only thing I can tell you is two things. Number one, God has such love. He wants us to be a person that loves. You have to display your love upon something. And so God created a race that could fellowship with him on equal terms. A race that is spiritual in nature, living in a physical body with an astute mind that could fellowship with the deity. God created that person called a human. You're one of them. And he did it because he loved you. See, I feel the Spirit of God. He did that because he wanted to fellowship with you. You say, but if he knew we would fall and some of us would spend eternity in the lake of fire, why do that? Because he's love. The main reason is for God to be loved freely, he had to give us a volition, a will. Without a will, you're a robot. You have to do it. You have instinct like a dog or a cat, right? No. God put a will in us, and he wanted us to love him because we wanted to, not because we had to. There's a risk to love. How many know there's a big risk to love? You can get burnt loving, right? I won't ask for a show of hands. How many have been burnt? Don't raise your hand. The value of loving is worth the risk. And you have to assume that to God, the value of loving was worth the risk of creating a human in his image and in his likeness. And that's the reason Jesus is called the Lamb slain from the foundations of the world. God knew that the potential was there that we could sin, but he also knew that if we did sin, because he has to be judicially correct, he has to be fair and equitable, even to his enemies, that if we made a mistake, that would incarcerate us like Satan himself will be in the lake of fire for eternity, and our sin could incarcerate us there. He made a plan before he ever created human beings, before he ever created the first grain of sand. God chose that when he made the human race. If we mess up, that he would become liable for our sin and pay our sin debt for us. And that's what Jesus Christ did. Isn't that awesome? So that now, even though we sin, we have a lawyer with the Father that's never lost a case. Jesus Christ, the righteous one. So if you're here or you're watching online and you don't know Jesus, and you know you've messed up, and you know in your future could be the lake of fire, you can escape that by giving your life to Jesus in repentance, saying, Lord, I can't live life without you. I'm not smart enough and wise enough. I have sinned against you. I have broken your moral law, and I am deserving of hell. But if you believe that Jesus Christ came and took your place and took your judgment for sin, then you know what? You can be forgiven. You can go to heaven. In eternity, heaven will be your home, and you'll escape the lake of fire. Is that not awesome?